Stephen Venables, good to have you here. Thanks for coming. Thanks for your time. It's your first day with the IMS, as I'm informed. So have you had the time to find out what it's all about, and how do you like it?
I've enjoyed it very much. Well, it's nice to come back to the Dolomites, and I haven't been here for a long time, so that's great. And we've been wonderfully looked after. All these beautiful women who are here to look after us, which is the best part of it. And we've had wonderful meals and this excellent wine from here. And it's nice to meet old friends as well, like Alessandro Gogna, who I hadn't seen for a long time, and Reinhold Messner, who I know a bit, and Mick Fowler, who I know from England. So it's been a great get-together.
Did you also meet, other climbers and mountaineers you have not met before?
Yeah, well, it was interesting. Well, I haven't met him properly yet, because I've only just seen him in the distance, Denis Rubko, who I know of, who's an astonishing high-altitude climber. And also, yes, I met someone called Billy. Billy, I think she's from Denmark, Danish woman.
She's a German journalist.
She's German, is she? Billy. I couldn't remember her surname. Anyway, and she's just climbed
she's the assistant
of Liz Hawley.
Yes.
She's from Germany, so I thought she was from Denmark, right? Yeah.
Okay. You already talked to her?
Yes. No, it's great to meet her.
There were some topics that we had on the IMS agenda this year, which you might find very interesting. One of it was the mountain rescue thing, which is rescue on the highest mountains in the Himalayas. Reinhold Messner said that the Annapurna would no longer be the Annapurna if everybody that went up there knew that he probably could be saved with a helicopter. What is your opinion on that?
I'm inclined to agree. I think mountaineers should be responsible for themselves. And people often said to me who are not climbers, when you climbed Everest, if things had gone wrong, could they have got you off with a helicopter? And I said, no. I said, even my friends couldn't help me. You're on your own. However, having said that, I've been on a mountain of 6,500 meters, and I broke both my legs, and I was very lucky, and an Indian Air Force helicopter was able to pick me up. And so I'm very grateful. So I can see both sides of the story.
Okay. Another topic that we discussed today was the question whether, the ladies' challenge to be the first one summiting all 14,000 meter peaks, was a thing that should be considered as a competition, and whether there should maybe also be rules. You're the first one that climbed the Everest without supplementary
We're just
oxygen.
first Britain, yeah.
What's your opinion on that? Should there be such rules? Does style matter in that way?
Well, to be quite frank, I'm a bit bored with people climbing 8,000 meter peaks.
Okay.
I mean, it was an amazing achievement when Reinhold Messner first did it, because it had never been done before. But I feel it has rather distracted people from real mountaineering, and I think it has ceased to be real mountaineering and ceased to be interesting. Obviously, to be the first woman to do it is a great achievement. I've only climbed one 8,000 meter peak. That was enough for me. So it's a huge achievement. But there's this interesting point about proof and whether people have really done everything they said they'd done. And there have, in the past, been a few very notorious incidents where there is controversy about whether someone actually did what they said they did, most famously on Cerro Torre. And that now, I get the feeling perhaps that is more common now. And that's rather depressing. Do
you have the impression that the pressure is rising on the athletes, on the mountaineers, to be successful because they need sponsoring, they need, money to finance their expeditions?
Well, it does seem possibly that's the reason. I mean, I try to imagine if I, say, was on Kanchenjunga and I hadn't quite reached the top, if I told people, I reached the top, how could I live with that afterwards? How could you live with that personal disappointment? So maybe there are other pressures that are pushing people to distort the truth. But certainly I remember talking to a friend called Carlos Bueller, who's an American climber, who's a very fine mountaineer. And he just told me a whole list of examples of people who've climbed 8,000 meter peaks, but not quite, which I think is sad. Because the thing about mountaineering is essentially pointless. It has no real purpose. It's an entirely artificial human creation. So, therefore, because it's pointless, it's even more important that you do go to the top. If you say you're there to climb a mountain, well, the mountain is the top of the mountain, and if you don't make the top, you haven't succeeded in this pointless quest.
Okay. You're also a famous author. What is the inspiring part when you get to write a new book? What's the beginning? Is there some routine to find out what you're going to write about?
Well, I think the book I enjoyed writing most was my first book, because it was new and fresh, and it was something I'd always wanted to do, and it was very thrilling that a publisher had agreed to pay me, tiny money, but they agreed to pay me to write it. And one of the nicest things was when I eventually published the book, one of my brothers read this book. He's not a climber, and he said, "Oh, now I know why you go mountaineering." So I was very pleased by that, because in the end you're just trying to communicate something, and you have these extraordinary experiences, and you're trying to convey something of those experiences to other people.
So you're always pleased if this is the reaction, that people really give you the feedback that they do understand, and that they do try to get an impression of what it's like to be in the highest mountains.
Yes. I mean, I'm never entirely pleased with my books, so I'm always disappointed, and they're never as good as I hope they're going to be. But yes, it's nice when other people are excited by my stories. And also it's interesting because you really have a double audience. So you're always balancing, you're trying to talk to the people who know about it, but you're also trying to talk to the people who don't know about it. And so you're having to try and balance those two audiences.
Mm-hmm. What are your plans for the next year? What are you going to do in 2011?
Well, in 5 days' time I leave to go to the island of South Georgia, and we will be sailing from the Falkland Islands, and if we're lucky with the weather, we'll be doing a big ski traverse through the mountains.
Oh, sounds good.
And it's my 4th trip there, so I'm looking forward to that. And later next year, in the spring, I'm leading a trek over the high passes between Makalu and Everest.
Who's going to join you for that?
It's a commercial trip organised by World Expeditions, which is an Australian company, and I think it's mainly Australians, maybe a few British. And some of them are doing the whole of the Himalayas right the way across Nepal. I'm just doing this. Okay. I'm just doing this section, which is about 1 month.
So they should be the leader. They should be trained if you take them over.
Some of them will probably be much fitter than me. Yes, the ones who've already come all the way from Kanchenjunga, they're going to be really fit and acclimatized.
Okay. Best of luck for that.
Thanks
for having you here, and have a good time at the Islands.
Thank you very much.